on WGN America. Garza's on the mound and ready to deal for the Cubs against Shane Victorino and the defending NL East champs, Cubs, Phillies. Today at 1:30 East on WGN America. Sunday, your weekend time with crime continues with Law & Order Criminal Intent. Today at 5 East, 2 West on WGN America. The following is a sports presentation of WGN America.
Beautiful Sunday afternoon in Philadelphia. We greet you from Citizens Bank Park for Chicago Cubs baseball. It's the Cubs and Phillies in Game 3 of this 4-game series. We welcome Cub fans from all over the country watching on WGN America, America's home for baseball. Hi again, everyone. Bob Brenly and Len Casper with you. The Cubs won 5-1 on Friday night, lost 5-2 last night. Bob, Randy Wells had a rough start, but the bullpen kept the Cubs close, and they've been a lot better here the last week or so.
I'll tell you what, Len, if and when the offense figures it out, it bodes well because the bullpen has been doing a really, really nice job. Very balanced down there. Scott Maine and James Russell from the left side. All the right-handers, with the exception of the young Rule 5 pick Lendy Castillo, have pitched in. The bullpen has been really good over their last 7.
Hopefully Matt Garza can give Dale Swaim a deep start. Kyle Kendrick gets the ball for the Phillies this afternoon. It's been an interesting series as the Cubs won Game 1 Friday night as they beat Roy Halladay, but they could not get to Joe Blanton last night. Game 3 coming up.
It's over! Prohibition is over!
Pull on those gardening gloves, and let's see how colorful an afternoon can be. With certified advice to help us expand our palate and prices that give us more spring per dollar, we can mix the right soil with the right ideas and bring even more color to any garden. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. It's grow time. Get 1 quart perennials 4 for just $10.
The American Garage, the temple of the tune-up, the Taj Mahal of overhaul. More of them count on AutoZone parts than ever before. But parts are just part of what we do. Our trusted advice and helping hands approach is everywhere. So, whether it's his place, her place, or the pro's place, parts are just part of what we do.
Get in the zone!
AutoZone.
WGN America.
Chicago Cubs baseball brought to you by Budweiser. A reminder from Budweiser, great times are waiting. Designated driver. Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. The Illinois Lottery. Do you believe in the power of possibility? The Illinois Lottery. Anything's possible. And by Ford, manufacturers of more fuel-efficient vehicles than any other brand. Check them out at your local Ford store or online at localfordstores.com. Cubs baseball in high definition is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. The Phillies have taken the field, and a lot of young fans have joined the various defenders at their positions, getting an autographed baseball and getting ready for our national anthem.
Out of respect for our country, we ask that you please remove your hats and join the St. Hubert's High School Chorus under the direction of Ann Connigan as they sing our national anthem.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red waves songs were singing gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the
It is Stats Sunday here on WGN. Make sure you check out our WGN baseball blog on WGNTV.com. It's brought to you by Jeff Vukovich, nationwide agent serving the area for 33 years. Nationwide is on your side. We've got video from last night's pregame show and also our Stats Sunday blog on batting average on balls in play, or BABIP. We will be featuring that today. Bob is writing down the definition. It's the percentage of all balls put in play by the batter resulting in a base hit. You take out the home runs. So it comes down to a little bit of luck. And by and large, batting average on balls in play, the average major league wide is around 300. So look at last year. Clayton Kershaw, Justin Verlander, the Cy Youngs. In the case of Kershaw, his BABIP was 275, not too far off his career mark. In the case of Justin Verlander, maybe got a little bit lucky, but you hate to use that word when you think about Verlander. Bob Ryan Dempster's BABIP just a little above his career average last year, which might explain his 4.80 ERA. And then we go to the hitters. Matt Kemp. What a year.
Oh, man, unbelievable. And it, you know, as you would expect, it's going to be hard to maintain a 479 BABIP throughout the entire season, but the 360 career mark, pretty solid nonetheless.
Adam Dunn maybe a little unlucky last year, and same for Ian Stewart. And it fluctuates a little bit more for hitters than it does for pitchers. Guys with more speed generally can have a higher batting average on balls in play. This season, the major league average is 292. So let's get Dale Swaim's Pepsi lineup, brought to you by Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. Campana, Barney, and Castro at the top. LaHare, Baker, and Stewart in the middle. Mather, Wellington Castillo got called up yesterday, and Matt Garza at the bottom. We'll get the Phillies defensively here in a moment. And his right-hander Kyle Kendrick Deals a strike on the outside corner to Campana. Kendrick making his second start, moving out of the bullpen and into the Phillies rotation with Cliff Lee on the disabled list. And Bob, he wants to be a lot better than he was his last time out.
Oh, he got banged around badly by the Arizona Diamondbacks in 3 innings of work, gave up 7 earned runs on 11 hits. His pitching coach Rich Doobie was very candid about Kyle Kendrick's last outing. He's going to have to be much better today if he expects to get any more nods in this rotation. Everything was up, everything was flat. Relies on a tailing 2-seam fastball, a cutter. And Rich Doobie said everything was on the same plane and up in the zone, and that's a bad combination.
Campana with a fly ball out to left, where Juan Pierre will grab it for the out.
Well, we know Juan Pierre's in left field. Let's check out the rest of the Phillies defensively. It'll be Shane Victorino once again in center. Hunter Pence over in right. Ty Wigginton getting the nod at third base. Nothing against Ty Wigginton, but anybody that's not Placido Polanco is not as good a defender. Jimmy Rollins at short. Freddie Galvis once again at second base. Lance Nix over at first. Veteran Brian Schneider doing the catching today for right-hander Kyle Kendrick.
And fastball high to Darwin Barney. Bill Miller is the home plate umpire. Dale Scott, C.B. Buckner, Dan Isonia on the bases. Another fly ball. And it's Victorino. Love to get some feedback on our Stats Sunday feature. LennonBob at Tribune.com is our email. You see our Facebook and Twitter addresses. And the first time through each lineup, 1 through 8, we're giving you the players' batting average this year. Their batting average on balls in play this season compared to what their career number is. So you see Starlin Castro has a pretty good career BABIP, a little higher than normal. Small sample size so far in 2012.
Is it safe to say that BABIP for a pitcher can be affected by the lack of range on his defenders?
No question.
Yeah.
And that's why you use this number to say a pitcher may be pitching better than his ERA indicates. If his BABIP is unusually high, you would say, well, it may not come down, but it probably will. And it gets into another term in baseball you hear often, the regression to the mean. Now, is Matt Kemp going to hit 470 when it's all said and done this season? Well, you might think he will.
I don't know. Matt Kemp is the greatest player in the history of baseball so far. Unbelievable.
Had a game-winning homer in the 10th last night to spoil Bryce Harper's major league debut. But yeah, no question, a pitcher's defense affects a pitcher's BABIP. And you would think a faster position player like Tony Campana versus Jim Thome will leg out more infield hits. On a ball in play, he should probably have a higher BABIP. One-two pitch. Castro will bounce out to the pitcher Kendrick. 3 balls in play, all outs. We go to the bottom of the first, 0-0.
Most women may not be properly absorbing the calcium they take because they don't take it with food. Switch to Citracal Maximum Plus D. It's the only calcium supplement that can be taken with or without food. That's why my doctor recommends Citracal Maximum. It's all about absorption.
Ever wonder who's searching for you? Go to MyLife.com, the internet's leading social site. Just type in your name and see if someone is searching for you for free. Who's searching for you? Go to MyLife.com and find out if someone is searching for you right now for free.
Tell us about the Accord.
Car and driver's 10 best.
How many times?
A record 26 times.
safety.
Overall 5-star safety rating.
Interesting. It's perfect.
不要太过分。
我知道，可是我太喜欢。
不要让他知道。
可是好漂亮。
让我解决，看我办事。So Brian, what kind of deal are we looking at here?
We have some really good offers going on right now.
Really?
Really.
Okay, we'll take it.
好极了，现在我开始准备文件。
Well-qualified buyers can get an Accord for 0.9% financing and no first month's payment during the Really Big Sales event. Real deals, big inventory at your Honda dealer.
Man, I'm glad Aflac pays cash.
Aflac? Ha!
Isn't Major Medical enough? No. Who's going to help cover the holes in their plans?
Aflac.
Like medical bills they don't pay for.
Aflac.
Or help pay the mortgage. Or child care.
Aflac.
And everyday expenses.
Aflac.
Help your family stay afloat at Aflac.com.
Now the Phillies starting lineup. Jimmy Rollins back in that leadoff spot for the second straight game. Juan Pierre is playing left. Hunter Pence in right. You've got Ty Wigginton, their hottest hitter, at third. Victorino in center. Lance Nix at first. Brian Schneider with his first start in the series. Freddie Galvis, the rookie second baseman, and Kendrick, the pitcher.
And let's check out how the Cubs take the field defensively today. Behind Matt Garza, brought to you by Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. Sunday lineup, a little different look. Joe Mather in left, Tony Campana in center. Jeff Baker getting the nod over in right field. It'll be Stewart, Castro, Barney, and LaHare once again, third to first across the infield. Wellington Castillo with his second start in 2 days behind the plate for right-hander Matt Garza.
Off to a good start this season. Matt Garza started and lost Game 3 of the 2008 World Series in this ballpark. Check that, he got a no decision as the Phillies beat the Rays that night. He went 6 innings, allowed 4 runs, including 3 home runs. And the first pitch strike to Rollins. In the regular season, Garza's made 3 starts against the Phillies, including on June 11th of last year. He's 1-1 with a 1.29. And Rollins pops into shallow right center. Barney out, and it's going to drop. Good job by Darwin, though, to pick up that ball and get it back in and keep Rollins to a single.
It's been really hard in the first 2 games plus of this series to figure out what the wind is doing. It's blowing once again what appears to be from left field to right field. But we were told by the Cubs hitters under similar circumstances in Game 1, the ball was really getting knocked down to right field.
Fortunately, no collision there.
Yeah. That's kind of the general consensus on one of those. The outfielder goes to the ground. The infielder tries to stay on his feet. That time, none of the Cub defenders could get there quickly enough. But I was just saying that wind seems to be knocking everything down to right field, even though it appears it's blowing in that direction.
And the open part of this stadium is straightaway center. And the wind might swirl just a little bit once it gets inside the bowl. 2-0 on Juan Pierre. And to illustrate BABIP, Matt Garza gets a little lazy fly ball. It drops for a hit. So you'd say maybe he was slightly unlucky there. But there's another component to it for a pitcher. There's a strike. Pitchers can control BABIP in a way, Bob, in that they strike the guy out. They don't even let him put the ball in play. And that's why strikeouts become pretty important in the game of baseball, when you can take the randomness out of it. And Garza's a good strikeout pitcher.
Oh, by the way, BABIP spelled backwards is Pie-Bab.
Yes, it is. And that's a foul tip. 2-2. And the other way to avoid a ball in play is to give up a home run. That's certainly not what Matt Garza wants to do. .6'4", 215. He's 28. 4 previous starts this year. 3 have been quality starts. Much of that time with the Tampa Bay Rays. Pulled just foul.
It's really puzzling to see that win-loss record for Matt Garza. I mean, by all accounts, this guy has ace stuff. On a given day, he can go out there and absolutely dominate an opposing lineup. But going into play today, career record stands at 2 games under 500.
Last year, just 10-10. Well, he left a bunch of starts, though, the chance for a win. Castro will flip to Barney, and he can't make a play. Darwin was too far over to get to second base quickly enough to try to turn 2, and we know how tough it is to double up Juan Pierre. So 1 out.
Yeah, Pierre's tough to double up under perfect circumstances, but this time Barney was shaded toward the hole between first and second. You can see he was on the dead run to get there just in time to force Jimmy Rollins.
That's another example of Dale Swaim's belief in positioning. And again, you got 2 pretty fast guys. Hard to double them up, but they're going to position their infielders to get an out. Double play is great if you can get it, but get an out. We were talking with Dale today, Bob, about avoiding the big inning. Certain circumstances where you might give up a run, but boy, avoid that crooked number. And Pierre is going to be out. Wellington Castillo nailed him. What a throw.
Oh, it took a perfect throw. Looked like Pierre had a pretty good jump over there at first base. That ball gets away up the third baseline. The barehanded dig, and right on the money to Darwin Barney to nab one of the faster base runners in the National League. Good quick tag that time as well.
That will not be a caught stealing. It'll just go 2-4. As Pierre simply took off when he saw that ball in the dirt. Pence lines it foul.
You bring up a good point when we were talking to Dale this morning about not that you ever concede that you're going to give up a run, but last night in the ball game, the leadoff double. It's all about minimizing damage at that point. In the major leagues, when you have a leadoff double or a leadoff triple, your chances of keeping that guy off the dish are pretty tough. So minimize the damage. Don't put guys on base behind him. Don't walk hitters behind him. And unfortunately for Randy Wells last night, starting in that 4th inning, that was the problem he had. Couldn't minimize the damage.
And then ultimately couldn't get out of that inning. Pence strikes out. Leadoff single, but no runs. We're scoreless after 1 from Philly.
Enough! No Pepsi for you. And what do you do?
I sing.
Enough! All right. Pepsi for you.
No, Pepsi for all.
Yeah, boy!
Wow, this is new.
Yep, I'm sending the dancing chicken to every store in the franchise to get the word out.
That
could work, or you could use Every Door direct mail from the Postal Service. It'll help you and all your franchisees find the customers that matter most, the ones in the neighborhood. You print it or find a local partner.
Great. Keep it moving, honey.
Honey?
That's my wife.
Wow.
There you go. There you go.
Go online to reach every home, every address, every time with Every Door direct mail.
You take off running. You take a message. Take a boo-boo and make it better. Take a nap. LOL. Take a breath. You take care of it all. Let Nutri-Grain help take care of you. It's tasty. Made with real fruit, whole grains, fiber, soft and sweet. Take a moment, then take on that to-do list with a grin. Kellogg's Nutri-Grain. Take care of you.
Western Sky can put up to $5,000 in your checking account by tomorrow. Yes, the money's expensive, but it's a lot cheaper than a payday advance, and it's enough to really get you over the hump. So get off the payday treadmill and call 866-SKY-1224 now.
Cubs, Reds, Wednesday at 7 East on WGN America.
Second inning, Brian LaHare, Jeff Baker and Ian Stewart against Kyle Kendrick. That is a strike.
Saw the BABIP for Brian LaHare this season, 538. Obviously not going to be able to maintain that kind of pace. Brian's issue is putting more balls in play. 23 strikeouts on the season and only 51 at bats.
Steve Clevenger on the DL with a strained oblique. There is no real timetable for Steve. It's going to be a few weeks at the least. It's punched out into left center. Well hit. Pierre will watch that ball hit the track and bounce over the wall for a double. Cubs have their first base runner. Leadoff double by Brian LaHare.
Good two-strike approach by a power hitter. Brian LaHare stayed right on that ball. As you said, just kind of flipped it toward the gap in left center field. But with his power, ball gets out to the warning track and bounces out of here for a book rule double. You don't see a lot of middle of the lineup run producing home run hitters take that kind of a swing with two strikes, but nice leadoff double here in the second.
Now Jeff Baker. Righties have been better than lefties this season against Kendrick. So Baker's in there along with Joe Mather. Line shot. And Pence misjudged it. It's over his head. LaHare to third. Pat Listash is going to hold him. Brian was going to tag. That's why he couldn't score. But the Cubs have runners at second and third with nobody out.
Jimmy Rollins' pop-up to right field appeared to get knocked down, but this is a bullet line drive off the bat of Jeff Baker. Must have found a wind tunnel out there somewhere. That ball just shot over Hunter Pence's head all the way to the out-of-town scoreboard. But Brian LaHare had to hold near second base, was only able to advance 90 feet onto third.
So let's see if Ian Stewart can get him in. Taps one foul.
Now Brian LaHare kind of caught in between. Was going to go initially. Saw Hunter Pence was getting close. And then when the ball gets over Pence's head, he can only make it as far as third base with nobody out in the inning.
Inside on that cutter. 1-1.
Well, you love the opposite field approach of the first two hitters here in the inning. Brian LaHare driving that ball to left center. Jeff Baker driving one to right.
One thing to consider with Ian Stewart and his BABIP is used to play half his games in very spacious Coors Field as that ball squeaks under Ryan Schneider, but LaHare not able to advance. 2-1 the count on Stewart.
The ball got in the dirt and rattled around, hit the umpire Bill Miller, trickled back toward the backstop, but once again, with nobody out in the inning, you have to be 100% sure you can get on that plate.
This will score a run. A broken bat grounder. Galvis will get the out at first, and a 2-for-1 for Stewart. He gets LaHare to the plate and Baker to third with 1 out. 1-0 Cubs.
Big fan of that 2-for-1. Sounded like a broken bat, but with the Phillies playing their infield back, turns into the first run of the ball game.
Kyle Kendrick was a 7th-round pick in 2003. This is his 100th career start. Born in Houston, Texas, went to high school in Mount Vernon, Washington. And actually, he was a really good football player. Kendrick was a quarterback and a punter on his high school football team and had committed to Washington State before signing with the Phillies. His last start, he gave up a career high 11 hits, tied his career high with 7 runs in a loss at Arizona. Just 3 innings. A 9-5 defeat. And again, he's in the rotation because Cliff Lee is on the disabled list.
Seems like every pitching staff has a guy like Kyle Kendrick, a swing man. You plug him into the rotation if you have a need. You can pitch him out of the bullpen if you don't have a need in the starting rotation. And had a very effective season last year. ERA have .314 as a starter, .341 as a reliever. I think we're going to see a big swing right here from Joe Mather.
And a good count for it. Here's the 3-1. Oh, he took that one. 3-2.
Like a pretty good pitch to hit, especially with the kind of plate coverage that Joe Mather has. He's got those long arms, long frame. He can reach out and take outside pitches and pull them back to left field.
And ball 4 on a close one.
The new Chicago Cubs baseball summer camps offers children ages 5 to 13 of all abilities the ultimate major league experience for 8 one-week sessions in 6 convenient locations around the Chicago area. Join fellow teammates for a week of top-notch baseball instruction, exclusive access, and unforgettable moments. Visit Cubs.com/camps to sign up your future Cub today.
Low on Wellington Castillo, called up before the game yesterday to replace Steve Clevenger on the roster, and he got the start as Giovanni Soto battling some very minor back stiffness. Castillo went 0 for 3. Runner goes from first, and Castillo swings and misses. Ryan Schneider had a little tough time pulling the trigger there. So Mathers at second on a stolen base.
It appeared to be a broken hit and run as Castillo chases that pitch down. Sounded like he may have just gotten a piece of it and tipped it into Brian Schneider's glove, and when he stuck that bare hand in there to grab the ball, he came up empty.
In the dirt. 2-1. Got a nice note from Keith Drew, watching us from Wales in the UK.
Is that Upper Kentucky?
No.
Oh.
United Kingdom.
Okay.
Yeah. The other UK.
I'm glad to have him with us.
High for ball 3. Garza's on deck.
That one just a little too high for Wellington Castillo. That's the idea right here. Get something up in the zone you think you can lift in the air to the outfield. Try to lay off those pitches down, even though a ground ball to the middle will probably produce another run.
Well, you did a little digging and you found out who the Cubs' third catcher would be. Darwin Barney.
Yeah, kind of surprising. Darwin Barney, when Dale was asking around to some of the players, have you ever been behind the plate before, just in case we need an emergency catcher? And Darwin was really the only guy to speak up and say, yeah, I've been back there before. It's been a while. Babe Ruth League. But yeah, Darwin Barney's the guy that said, if they need somebody, I'll go back there.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that.
Please.
The only time Dale ever caught was in a fantasy league game. He said it took him a while to get used to it. Another 3-2 to Castillo, and he foul tips for a huge out for Kendrick. 2 down, and the pitcher Garza coming up.
Castillo got the pitch up he was looking for. Unfortunately, just can't make contact right through that one. Yeah, talking about Dale Swaim's experience behind the plate in that fantasy camp, he said the first hitter swung and missed, and apparently he closed his eyes because the ball hit him right in the stomach. Never got leather on it.
Garza with a hit in his last start. Laid down a sac bunt as well. Just got to put it in play, partner. He's at 500 if he puts it in play. The challenge has been putting it in play.
Yeah, that's a serious challenge.
The kick, the 0-2.
If Kendrick continues to pound away at that outside corner on Matt Garza, well, you wonder why Ty Wigginton and Jimmy Rollins are even positioned on the left side of the infield. Matt Garza has trouble pulling mediocre stuff, but especially pitches away. Probably going to tap it to the right side. Well, the real wild card is Kyle Kendrick, because he has been wild. He has missed his spot from one side of the plate to the other on several occasions already in the first 2 innings of this game.
And he strikes him out. The Cubs get 1. That's it. 1-0 in the second.
On my journey across America, I found new ways to tell people about saving money. This is Bobby. Say hello, Bobby. Hello, Bobby. Do you know you could save hundreds on car insurance over the phone, online, or at your local Geico office? Tell us, Bobby, what would you do with all those savings?
Hire a bit of ventriloquist. Your lips are moving.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
I'm a marathon runner in absolute perfect physical condition, and I had a heart attack right out of the clear blue. I'm on an aspirin regimen, and I take Bayer chewables.
Be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen.
It's my success story.
This is me. Yep, born cool. This is my new Civic, and I love it. This is where I work. These are my tickets to the show of the decade. These are my friends. And this, I couldn't live without this. Oh, this is the girl I went out with last night. Hey.
Hey.
You gonna make it tonight? This is going to be awesome.
The all-new Civic EXL, the most technologically advanced Civic ever. Only from Honda.
Tough on sweat. Not on skin. Get powerful 48-hour sweat protection plus quarter moisturizer technology only with Dove Men Plus Care deodorant.
Neighbors! We shouldn't need a GPS to find the fertilizer. We should go to Ace, where we can zip in, find what we need, and zip out.
Our speedy-sized stores help get your weekend back at Ace.
1-0 Cubs as we head to the bottom of the second. It's time for our Xfinity catcher profile. Protecting home for the Cubs today, Wellington Castillo just called up from AAA Iowa before yesterday's game. He signed as a non-drafted free agent back in 04, threw out 16 of 55 base runners attempting to steal in Iowa last year, and threw out Juan Pierre in the first inning of this game, even though it technically wasn't a caught stealing. Xfinity Home offers state-of-the-art features that help you stay connected to your home and family anytime and anywhere.
Bottom of the second, 1-0 Cubs. And one other note on BABIP, Bob. I think it's maybe really instructional for looking at free agent players or players you might trade for. For instance, if you have a pitcher who has the best defense in baseball behind him and a lot of balls in play are converted into outs, you might look at his numbers if he goes to a different team in a different setting with a bad defense, that ERA might go up a little bit. If you have a great pitcher with a horrible defense behind him with a high BABIP, well, maybe his numbers will improve in a different situation with a better defense. We're just trying to take a lot of the external randomness out of it to determine what kind of year a guy really had.
And there's a lot of randomness in this game of baseball.
There is.
I'm telling you, a lot of luck involved.
Look, batting average will never go away. You never hear guys getting a trophy for or a lot of publicity for winning an OBP title, but you hear about the batting title. That is hitting for average. But it's pretty well accepted now that batting average is not the best way to determine a hitter's worth. And we're starting to kind of slowly get into the idea of, is ERA the best way to evaluate a pitcher? And a lot of other numbers to consider. And Ian Stewart will throw out Ty Wigginton. Cub fans, if you want to manage the game along with Dale Swaim, log on to WGNTV.com right now and click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner to connect to all the up-to-the-minute stats and info while you're watching at home. Game Zone is sponsored by The Great Escape, pools, patio sets, play sets, hot tubs, and more. And I do not say this facetiously, but we talked off the air about you were looking for somebody to find some numbers to show that you were a better hitter than you were. You hit 247 in your career, right?
Yeah.
Well, by the standards of your era, in terms of everybody looked at, they'd say, well, 247, that's not that great. But you dig deeper into the numbers and you were a better hitter than you thought. So you should feel really good about that.
I do. Retroactively, yeah.
Now we just need to renegotiate your 1985 salary.
But, you know, for years, though, we've talked about ball players, and he's only hitting .230, but it's a hard .230. Now, that you can't put a number on that, but you kind of get the idea. Guy's made some tough outs. He's hit some line drives right at people. Maybe his average isn't good, but he swung the bat well. And on the other side of the coin, a guy could be hitting .320, and you have heard it said it's a soft .320. A lot of singles, very few RBIs, very few balls hit into the gap.
Well, I'll tell you a guy who you played with who was undervalued throughout his career. As Victorino strikes out, Rob Deere. Rob Deere was a career .220 hitter. He struck out a ton.
Yes, he did.
But he hit a lot of home runs and he walked.
Yep.
Two down. Here's Lance Nix. Off to a really good start. And part-time duty.
Well, Matt Garza almost made that curveball go away from the left-handed hitter. Occasionally, when he really gets on top of that yacker, he can make it go straight down toward the ground. That time it almost looked like it was working its way away from the left-handed hitter. We haven't seen as many curveballs from Garza in the early going this season. You see tremendous splits against both lefties and righties. He's been more of a power pitcher in the early going this year. Fastballs and hard sliders, just showing the curveball on occasion.
Big overshift to the right on the infield against the left-handed hitting Nix, who pops it foul back behind the third base dugout. Here it is. Here's a ground ball into the shift as Lahair backhands and Garza covers. Inning over. 1-0 Cubs over the Phillies after 2.
Yes, I can. Doubt better leave. I'm running with this plan. Pull me, grab me, crap in the bucket, can't have me. I'll be the president. Oh, you like that gossip? Like you the one drinking what gossip.com. How many Rolling Stones you want? Yeah, I got a brand new spirit speaking and it's done. Woke up on the side of the bed like I won. Talk like I'm winning my checks to that sun. G5 in the US to Taiwan. Now who can say that? I want to play back. I got a feeling it's a rap.
Welcome to Longhorn Steakhouse. Come in now for new steak and seafood combinations. Try our lobster baked potato and sirloin for just $16.99, or our crab stuffed mushrooms and sirloin for $14.99. Steak and seafood tonight at Longhorn Steakhouse.
21st Century here with two identical, stolen cars. Luckily, the two cars that used to be here were both covered against theft. One through these guys, the other through 21st Century. So both cars can be replaced. But drivers who switch from Allstate to 21st save $577 a year. Call 888-422-1074 or visit 21st.com. 21st Century Insurance.
Dig it, 21st.
I think it's important to help the less fortunate. I'm the Angelina Jolie of Incredibly Hot Guys.
How I Met Your Mother. Tonight at 7:30 East, 4:30 West.
The 2012 Chicago Cubs baseball season on WGN TV is brought to you by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
Sun is out today. The parking lot should be full, and really full today, because the Flyers are playing in the Stanley Cup playoffs a little later on this afternoon, and the Phillies have been selling out for several years here at Citizens Bank Park on a daily basis.
Yeah, the tailgaters for the hockey game were out early this morning when we came to the ballpark.
Tony Campana lines one into right. I got a nice note from Blackhawks analyst Eddie Olczyk, who was trying to figure out a way to sneak over here from across the street for a couple of innings. And he said, if I get a game misconduct, I'll stop over. Don't think broadcasters usually get game misconducts.
Well, if you can, we'll probably find out before the end of the year. Of course, we don't have game misconduct in baseball, but it's not out of the question that an announcer could get ejected. We'll give it our best shot.
Ball one on Barney. See if Campana will take off here soon. You would imagine he would.
Well, Tony Campana continues to hit the ball hard since coming back up to the major league level. A lot of line drives, a lot of hard ground balls.
And he's going to take off for second on a bad throw.
Have we ever mentioned how much speed changes the game? Wow, I mean, it's amazing. Every time Tony Campana gets on base, he's an immediate distraction to the defense. Everybody has to position themselves differently. The pitchers have to be concerned with his lead over at first base. The catcher calls different pitches to give himself an opportunity to try to throw Tony out at second base. And in this case, Kendrick throws one away to put him in scoring position.
That's a strike as Schneider dropped it.
And Brian Schneider dropped that pitch because Darwin Barney showed bunt. You get that bat out there in just the right position, it screens the catcher. He can't see the pitch coming into the hitting zone, and that time it hit right in the middle of his glove and popped out.
Nice. Barney with that inside out swing to get Campana to third for Starlin Castro.
See, that'll take his BABIP down, but a productive out nonetheless to move Campana to third base with one out in the inning. Well, as good a contact hitter as Starlin Castro is, and Tony Campana's speed at third base, the Phillies playing their infield back, feel pretty good about scoring a run right here.
Huge foul.
I mean, a ground ball hit anywhere other than back to the mound, Campana will be streaking down that third baseline.
Not very deep, but Campana will tag. Pence with a good arm. This should be interesting. Save on a close play. Well, that's fun. I got to tell you, as a baseball fan, you've got the fastest guy on the Cubs. You've got the best outfield arm on the Phillies, and let the best man win.
Yeah. I mean, Hunter Pence over the last 4 seasons has had more outfield assists than any other National League outfielder. The ball was not hit very deep, but you know Tony Campana loves to showcase his speed. That time just able to get through the block at home plate by Brian Schneider. I mean, Hunter Pence does everything right. Stayed behind the ball. Good one-hop throw right on the money, but it looked to me like Tony got in underneath the tag. No hesitation whatsoever. Right there, just blew right through the left leg of Brian Schneider to get his own left leg on the plate.
Good call by Bill Miller. A sac fly for Castro, and 2-0. Oh, 2 on LaHare. Base is empty. Backdoor cutter outside. Normally the series would end today, but not the case this weekend. The finale will be tomorrow night. Chris Volstad will oppose Vance Worley.
It's always strange to wake up on a Sunday morning in a city around the National League, and we're used to packing our luggage, getting it down into the lobby.
Called strike 3 on the fastball to end the inning. Cubs lead
2-0. Tough on sweat. Not on skin. Get powerful 48-hour sweat protection plus quarter moisturizer technology only with Dove Men Plus Care deodorant.
Pull on those gardening gloves and let's see how colorful an afternoon can be. With certified advice to help us expand our palette and prices that give us more spring per dollar, we can mix the right soil with the right ideas and bring even more color to any garden. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. It's grow time. Get 1 quart perennials 4 for just $10.
Attention women, the birth control drugs Yaz, Yasmin, and Ocella have been linked to serious blood clots and even death.
If you took Yaz, Yasmin, or Ocella and then suffered a pulmonary embolism, deep vein thrombosis, blood clot, stroke, or heart attack, you may be entitled to money damages.
Settlements are already being paid. Your time to act is quickly running out. Call us right now.
Call 1-800-319-1000. That's 1-800-319-1000.
Lately, we've been ordering a lot of cheesy bread from other places. And what we found? Under-cheesing is rampant. You look at this. A little bit of cheese with a whole lot of bread. And we were one of the worst offenders. You know, what we said is, how do we make cheesy bread better? How do we make it special? Stuff it with cheese. It's got as much cheese as our medium pizza. I wanted people to jump rope with their cheese. Or you could eat it, which I would recommend.
Order any of our new stuffed cheesy breads or medium 2-topping pizzas. Choose any 2 for just $5.99 each.
Law and Order Criminal Intent on WGN America.
Well, we have a late afternoon off, and that's what we'll be doing. Our TV crew will be doing a little team building.
I'll be the guy sitting on the end of the boat with the megaphone. Row! Row! Row me over there to that restaurant.
Tony Campana, leadoff single and a run. As the Cubs lead 2-0, bottom 3 now for the Phillies, starting with veteran backup catcher Brian Schneider, and he takes a strike on the outside corner. We theorized Carlos Ruiz, day game after a night game, took a pitch off his knee on a foul ball last night, might be out of the lineup, and you were right. He did finish the game last night and hit a home run. Curveball strike.
That's one nice thing about the major leagues. When you're the everyday catcher like Carlos Ruiz is and the backup Brian Schneider gets a start, you don't have to go down to the bullpen and warm up pitchers all day. That's something that happens a lot in the minor leagues or in spring training. But at the major league level, you usually got 1 or 2 bullpen catchers available to handle the heavy lifting down there. Guys warming up to come into the ball game, or starting pitchers that need to throw side sessions. Carlos Ruiz just kick up his feet a little bit today and enjoy a ball game.
Swing and a miss on a high fastball. Strikeout number 3 for Garza. Let's take a look ahead. Our Ford upcoming Cubs schedule. Finish the series tomorrow night, then off to Cincinnati. We're back on WGN Wednesday evening at 6 Central. Ford, manufacturers of more fuel-efficient vehicles than any other brand. Check them out at your local Ford store or online at localfordstores.com. Here's a rookie, Freddie Galvis, who's been filling in for Chase Utley at second base. (0-2) on him. It looks like Matt Garza's got his really good stuff. His stuff's always good. Need a little extra life on all of his pitches, throwing his heater at 95 miles an hour. Back-to-back Ks to start the bottom of the 3rd.
Nothing tricky here. This is just kind of a waste fastball. 0-2 count. You want to throw one up around the shoulders to change the eye level and then maybe come back with a breaking pitch. But Galvis checks his swing on that fastball that was up above shoulder level. I'd like to see this. Matt Garza just stepped off the back of the mound momentarily, took a deep breath after throwing ball 1 to the pitcher, Kyle Kendrick. You don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. 2 quick outs here to start the inning on punch outs. And now falls behind the pitcher 2-0.
That was the walk that really bothered Randy Wells last night when he walked Joe Blanton in the 4th inning. Two and two. Mentioned the 08 World Series as Garza made 1 start, got a no decision for Tampa Bay. He was the ALCS MVP to help the Rays get to the World Series, won the clinching Game 7 over Boston, and then the Phillies won the World Series in 5 games. Called strike 3. He fans the side in the 3rd.
Did you know when you get heartburn, it's too late to take Prilosec? Because Prilosec is not intended for immediate relief. But it's never too late for Zantac. Prilosec takes at least 24 hours to reach its full effect. But Zantac works differently. It relieves heartburn in as little as 30 minutes. Its fast-release acid blockers are clinically proven to relieve heartburn when it occurs. In fact, no pill relieves heartburn faster. So when heartburn strikes, try Zantac. This has been Medifax for Zantac.
I have the right to a guarantee that my rate is the lowest on the web. Do I ask for too much?
Kinda. Sometimes.
It's your voice. It's yourchoicehotels.com, where you'll always get the best internet rate guaranteed or your first night's free. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
And the Honda Civic won a Best Resale Value Award from KBB.com.
I like the silver one.
How safe is the Accord? It's got an overall 5-star safety rating. How's the MPG? 34 highway. How's the lease? Well-qualified customers can get the Accord for $199 a month. Is this a dream? No. Are you a genie? No. You a dragon wizard? No. Are you my fairy godmother? No.
Pause. Pause means yes.
Pause totally means yes. We'll take it. Thank you, fairy godmother.
Get a great deal on an Accord during the Really Big Sales event. Real deals, big inventory. Now, at your Honda dealer.
Tough on sweat. Not on skin. Get powerful 48-hour sweat protection plus quarter moisturizer technology only with Dove Men Plus Care deodorant.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs.
The Cubs are proud to present the first ever social media night at Wrigley Field on Wednesday, May 16th against these Phillies. Your Budweiser bleacher ticket includes a gift bag with a pack of social media baseball cards, often including a player autograph, and a pregame panel featuring Chicago Bears kicker Robbie Gould. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com/special events.
Cub fans enjoying this one as their team leads 2-0. I'm not sure if she's a Cub fan. She's wearing blue, so
close enough.
All right, she was. That's confirmed. Baker with a double his first time up, in on the hands as he squibs one to Nix, who will step on the bag for the out. Getting some really interesting responses on our Stats Sunday feature. Julia tweets, watching the Cubs while studying for the tax final. I'm not retaining much tax info, but at least I can explain BABIP. Steve Marufo or Marufo said, didn't Eddie BABIP sing I Love a Rainy Night? That's close. Yeah.
And Charlie BABIP gets his underwear at Kmart.
Yeah, that's better. I like it. Go to Walbrook with Charlie BABIP. Outside.
I mean, it's like a whole new language. BABIP and Thorpe.
Swing and a miss.
Value over replacement player.
That's
correct?
right. Yep. Wins above replacement. What's the guy's WAR? You're thinking of the old 70s band, right?
Yeah. Or Edwin Starr. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Well, not according to sabermetricians.
I think this stuff makes the game more understandable. Some people think it complicates it. Everybody has an opinion, that's for sure. Stewart has worked a full count, 3-2 with Joe Mather on deck. Cubs with single runs in the second and the third to grab the lead. Going inside, and Stewart lines to Pence.
Well, a lot of old school baseball people, Len, would say, you still have to hit it, you still have to catch it, you still have to throw it, which will never go away. Basics of the game are always going to be the basics of the game.
I think that's true, and I also think with run scoring down around baseball over the last few years, the little things that were not stressed about 10 years ago are more important now. They are.
Absolutely.
Getting the guy over, getting him in.
Smart base running, solid fundamentals, get the outs you're supposed to get. Speaking of hitting it and catching it and throwing it, did you happen to see much of Bryce Harper last night?
Saw the go-ahead sac fly in the ninth, and then the crazy bottom of the ninth, and that was a wild game. But no, I didn't see his throw.
Oh my!
From the outfield that you were talking about. Joe Mather, deep to left, gone into the front row. That is the first home run by a Cub outfielder this season. And it's 3-0.
Well, in honor of our first home run from an outfielder this year, we're going to call this our Nissan drive of the game. It was a screaming liner. Wasn't sure if it was going to be high enough to get over that wall in left field, but Joe Mather tucks it up a couple of rows above the barrier. Nice going, Joe. Get to a Nissan dealer for great deals on innovation you can count on. Innovation for all.
Wellington Castile flies out to Victorino. 2-out homer, Joe Mather. And the Cubs now lead 3-0.
WGN.
WGN.
WGN. WGN America.
WGN America.
Where the fans are in charge. This is WGN America, home to the biggest shows on television.
Nice. Looks like WGN America filled out in all the right places.
You're good, WGN America. You're very good.
How can a dinner party this last minute be this well done? And how can a beer this full-flavored be just 99 calories? Budweiser Select, the exception to the rule.
The American Garage, the temple of the tune-up, the Taj Mahal of overhaul. More of them count on AutoZone parts than ever before. But parts are just part of what we do. Our trusted advice and helping hands approach is everywhere. So, whether it's his place, her place, or the pro's place, parts are just part of what we do.
Get in the zone.
AutoZone.
Man, I'm glad Aflac pays cash.
Aflac. Ha!
Isn't major medical enough?
Huh?
No. Who's going to help cover the holes in their plans?
Aflac.
Like medical bills they don't pay for.
Aflac.
Or help pay the mortgage. Or child care.
Aflac.
And everyday expenses.
Aflac.
Help your family stay afloat at Aflac.com.
Conventional wisdom says a full-flavored beer can't be low in calories. Budweiser Select is anything but conventional. Full flavor, 99 calories. Budweiser Select, the exception to the rule.
Statue of the late Hall of Fame pitcher, Robin Roberts, Springfield, Illinois native, actually finished his 19-year big league career with the Cubs in 1966, and that uniform kind of similar to the throwbacks the Phillies are wearing this afternoon. Robin Roberts led the majors in innings pitched from 1951 to 1955, Bob, every year. At least 305 innings.
Wow.
Every year. 28 wins in 1952. 39 games, 37 starts. Back when only 4 starters per rotation were needed.
You still have it up there. How many complete games?
He had 30 complete games in 1952. He had 305 in his career.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, he finished what he started. Yep.
We talk a lot about the game nowadays and how important it is to run up a pitch count on the starter so you can get into that vulnerable middle relief. Back in the day, the 4 starters were your 4 best pitchers on the staff, and everybody else you didn't want to put into the ball game.
I don't know when it'll happen, but I think it will happen that the bullpen, the way it's constructed right now, will change because the game evolves. And I also think, Bob, whether it's a 6 or a 4-man rotation, I don't think the 5-man rotation will be here forever because the game evolves, and it's going to take one team to do it and to have success with it, and everybody else will follow. One and 2. One and 3. He has struck out 4 in a row, 6 on the day.
You said it earlier, it seems like Garza has a little bit extra on his pitches today. I think more than anything else, his command has been fantastic. When he's wanted to go in, he's been able to get in. When he's tried to hit the outside corner, he's painted. We've seen him go up the ladder when he's been ahead in the count. Every pitch right where he wants it. Well, that's the very definition of a 12-6 curveball right there, straight down. Old timers used to call that a drop ball. But that is technically a legitimate curve. There's a lot of downward movement, the slower of his breaking pitches.
And the 2-0 is taken by Pierre for a strike. We're talking about the bullpen. I like what Dale did Friday night. He let Rafael Dolis get a 2-inning save, which you don't see very often these days. Instead of bringing in the closer with a 4-run lead in the 9th after the Cubs added on. Starman Castro will get Juan Pierre. It was the first career save for Dolis, who got his first career win on Monday.
And he only threw 8 or 9 pitches, I believe, to get out of the 8th inning. So, yeah, it seemed to make a lot of sense to just send the youngster back out there for one more inning of work. And by doing so, got him his first save.
Well, think about the way a lot of games go. Let's say the starter gives you 6. You use 3 guys over the 7th and the 8th with maybe a matchup lefty, and then your closer in the 9th. Let's say of the 3 or 4 relievers you use in that game, not all of them are going to be great or have their A game, but let's say 2 of them do. Why not use the 2 who are pitching well and leave the other guys for another night? Yeah, sometimes you don't know if you bring in your lefty to face the other team's lefty if he's got his best stuff. But how often does it happen the guy in the 8th inning just mows him down and then the closer doesn't have it? Pence pops it up. We'll ask Goose Gossage and Bruce Sutter about that next time we have them in the booth. I think they'll have an opinion.
'21st Century here with 2 identical, stolen cars. Luckily, the 2 cars that used to be here were both covered against theft. One through these guys, the other through 21st Century. So both cars can be replaced. But drivers who switch from Allstate to 21st save $577 a year. Call 888-422-1074 or visit 21st.com. 21st Century Insurance.
Dig it, 21st.
At eHarmony, we love that you're selective and that you know who you are and who's right for you. That's why we'd never dream of bombarding you with hundreds of random profiles. Instead, we help you find people who truly complement you, which is why first dates on eHarmony have a better chance of turning into happy relationships than on any other site. So what are you waiting for? Review your matches free at eHarmony.com.
Lately, we've been ordering a lot of cheesy bread from other places. And what we found? Under-cheesing is rampant. You look at this, a little bit of cheese with a whole lot of bread. And we were one of the worst offenders. You know, what we said is, how do we make cheesy bread better? How do we make it special? Stuff it with cheese.
It's got as much cheese as our medium pizza.
I wanted people to jump rope with their cheese. Or you could eat it, which I would recommend.
Order any of our new stuffed cheesy breads or medium 2-topping pizzas. Choose any 2 for just $5.99 each.
So for me to be there at the birth of my daughter, I have to answer trivial questions?
Yeah. You ready to play?
Bring it.
30 Rock tonight at 7 East, 4 West on WGN America.
I think it's important to help the less fortunate. I'm the Angelina Jolie of Incredibly Hot Guys.
How I Met Your Mother tonight at 7:30 East, 4:30 West.
5th inning is brought to you by Fifth Third Bank, the Curious Bank. Member FDIC.
Called strike on Matt Garza, who has been terrific on the mound, holding the Phillies to 1 hit. He's got 6 strikeouts through 4. In fact, the hit was Jimmy Rollins leading off the bottom of the 1st. 0-2. Yankees lead the Tigers 3-1, bottom 5. Prince Fielder has homered for Detroit. Curtis Granderson for the Yankees, his 8th. Goal throw by Schneider, but no problem for Nix. Albert Pujols 0 for 3 as the Angels trail in Cleveland 2-0 in the bottom of the 7th. Albert hitting .218. I don't have the ground ball out data here on stats, but Derek Lowe 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Got to imagine that sinker's working pretty well. That's a called strike. Time now to look at our AT&T Uverse replay of the game. There's Castro with the sac fly. Campana just got in under the tag. See what's possible with AT&T Uverse high-speed internet. AT&T, rethink possible. 0-2 to Tony. Called strike 3. Like the cutter.
You see Schneider sets up inside under the hands. Yeah, it was that off the body sinker. Started off the inside corner, tailed right back to the corner.
A strike to Barney. Edwin Encarnacion has homered again, his 7th. He had a grand slam yesterday. Blue Jays lead the Mariners 2-1 in the 6th. Just keep scoring a run per inning. We'll be all right. Actually, Encarnacion has homered in all 3 games of that series against the Mariners, including a granny yesterday. Fastball called strike 3. So after Garza struck out the side in the 3rd, Kendrick does it in the 5th.
There's a lot of home improvement centers out there, but does paying more for less mower really improve anything? That's why Sears brought the latest Craftsman line here, to put our money where our mouth is. Welcome to the turf war. Compare any Craftsman tractor, mower, or trimmer to any other brand, and we guarantee Sears has the lowest price. You won't find a better deal there or there. And if you do, we'll match it and give you up to $100 to spend on anything at Sears. It's a turf war, because your lawn is worth fighting for. Want proof? See our prices and theirs at Sears.com/compare.
You take off running. You take a message. Take a boo-boo and make it better. Take a nap. LOL. Take a breath. You take care of it all. Let Nutri-Grain help take care of you. It's tasty. Made with real fruit, whole grains, fiber, soft and sweet. Take a moment, then take on that to-do list with a grin. Kellogg's Nutri-Grain. Take care of you.
A cup of Joe is a sedan. A cup of Johann is a 600 horsepower sports coupe that likes to hug curves. Your curves. Meet me in the coffee aisle.
Attention women, the birth control drugs Yaz, Yasmin, and Ocella have been linked to serious blood clots and even death.
If you took Yaz, Yasmin, or Ocella and then suffered a pulmonary embolism, deep vein thrombosis, blood clot, stroke, or heart attack, you may be entitled to money damages.
Settlements are already being paid. Your time to act is quickly running out. Call us right now.
Call 1-800-319-1000. That's 1-800-319-1000.
Cubs, Reds, Wednesday at 7 East on WGN America.
Cubs with a 3-0 lead. Trying to take 2 of the first 3 in this series. They have never won a series in this ballpark. They've never won or haven't won a series in Philadelphia since 2001. That was at the Vet. Do you miss the Vet?
No. Miserable ballpark. I mean, I like playing there, but any ballpark that had AstroTurf immediately moves to the bottom of my most favorite list. I mean, that was the very definition of a cookie-cutter ballpark. If you didn't look around and see the name on the scoreboard, you didn't know whether you were in Cincinnati or Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, St. Louis. They all kind of looked the same. Fifth inning brought to you by Fifth Third Bank, the curious bank, member FDIC.
Well, if Matt Garza could erase the Jimmy Rollins single, he'd be working a perfect game. 12 in a row since Rollins led off the game with a single. Well, I know Harry Callis worked games here at Citizens Bank Park before he died, but that's when I think of the Vet. I think of running into Harry. Len, Bob, how are you? Naperville native. What a wonderful man.
Oh, he was the best.
The voice of God for baseball and NFL films. White shoes and a white belt every day.
Yeah, they still play a video of Harry singing High Hopes after the Phillies wins here at Citizens Bank Park.
I don't remember all the details, but one of the great off-the-air stories Harry told me was about how he recorded all the NFL highlights during the baseball season. You know, at the end of the year. And whatever city he was in, he would find a recording studio and they would hand me the script without the film or the video, and he would just read them, and then they'd, I think, marry the film to his great pipes. Two pitch in the dirt. Full count, 3-2. Ground ball right to Ian Stewart. Gets rid of it quickly. 2 outs.
The third annual Wrigley Field Fantasy Camp is back and offers a great Father's Day experience. On June 17th, you and a guest will watch the Cubs take on the Boston Red Sox from a luxury suite. On June 18th, spend the afternoon playing with Cubs legends and celebrities and lead your team to the championship game under the lights. Sign up today at Cubs.com/fantasy camp or call 773-388-8270.
The Philly Fanatic celebrating a birthday today, and all of his friends were here. A lot of mascots from around baseball.
It's kind of funny. The Fanatic's birthday always falls on a Sunday.
Huh. That's a good catch. Final Sunday in April, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Some of the festivities earlier today.
You think the Friar would have been busy on a Sunday, but 1-2. There's the cake. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He has faced the minimum through 5 on just 1 hit.
What's up, America? I am Barney from America. America loves it. I see the face of America, and it is divine. America is a melting pot. God bless America.
And this Accord?
Car and driver's 10 best, a record 26 times.
It's safe?
It has overall 5-star safety rating.
Is the big sales event still on?
Yes, but it's almost over.
So I'm fashionably late?
If you were late, the event will be over.
So I'm fashionably early?
I don't think that's the thing.
So I'm fashionably on time?
Indeed you are.
Where's the after party?
Sometimes we meet at Patty McDougal's after work.
That sounds nice.
Well-qualified buyers can get an Accord for 0.9% financing and no first month's payment during the really big sales event. Real deals, big inventory at your Honda dealer.
Pull on those gardening gloves, and let's see how colorful an afternoon can be. With certified advice to help us expand our palette and prices that give us more spring per dollar, we can mix the right soil with the right ideas and bring even more color to any garden. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. It's grow time. Get 1 quart perennials 4 for just $10.
I'm a marathon runner in absolute perfect physical condition, and I had a heart attack right out of the clear blue. I'm on an aspirin regimen, and I take Bayer chewables.
Be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen.
It's my success story.
Tough on sweat. Not on skin. Get powerful 48-hour sweat protection plus quarter moisturizer technology only with Dove Men Plus Care deodorant.
Time now to take a look at our BMW in-game Cubs box score. Contributions up and down the lineup. Even Darwin Barney in the 2 spot, 0 for 3, but ground ball to the right side moved Tony Campana to third base, where he later scored on a Starlin Castro sac fly. Ian Stewart 0 for 2, but he drove in a run with a ground ball to second base. For a limited time, get incredible lease deals on the 2011 BMW 3 Series. Visit ChicagolandBMW.com for more information.
Well, this has been one of the best pitching performances we've seen here in April by Matt Garza, as the Cubs lead 3-0. And Starlin Castro home run swing came up empty. This is the kind of day where I don't think Dale Swain wants to hand the ball to anybody else. Bounce to third. Ty Wigginton gets him, hitting the road. Take the Cubs with you this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Cubs out-of-market game live online and on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit Cubs.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv. Baseball everywhere. Brian LaHare deposits one into left, and he's 2 out of 3. Jose Contreras just keeps on ticking. Doesn't throw as hard as he used to, but warming up in the Phillies bullpen.
Still has that real good split-fingered fastball, has incorporated more off-speed pitches to make up for the loss in velocity on his heater.
Kendrick's been a lot better than he was his last time out, but pitching against Matt Garza today, and trailing 3-0. That's a strike. How about the Orioles? Off to a 13-8 start, tied with Tampa Bay atop the American League East, going into action today. Trying to get 6 games over 500 for the first time since July 20th, 2005, but they're down 2-0 in the 7th at home against Oakland. Called strike 3. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN.
WGN America is, wait for it, the home of the superfan. Join the How I Met Your Mother conversation now at facebook.com/meetitmclarens.
Ian Stewart knocked in the first run of the day with a ground out in the 2nd inning. Well, how about the renaissance of Bartolo Colon? 6 shutout innings, working for the Athletics today, and still in there as Stewart grounds out. We go to the last of the 6th. Matt Garza back to work, leading 3-0.
Sunday, your weekend time with crime continues with Law & Order Criminal Intent. Today at 5 East, 2 West on WGN America.
It's over! Prohibition is over!
On my journey across America, I found new ways to tell people about saving money. This is Bobby. Say hello, Bobby. Hello, Bobby. Do you know you could save hundreds on car insurance over the phone, online, or at your local Geico office? Tell us, Bobby, what would you do with all those savings?
Hire a bit of ventriloquist. Your lips are moving.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Need any help? Nope, just checking out my ad.
Nice. But, you know, with Everydoor direct mail from the Postal Service, you'll find the customers that matter most, the ones in your neighborhood. Print it yourself or find a local partner, and postage is under 15 cents.
I wish I would have known that, because I really don't think I chose the best location.
Well, that's not so bad. I mean, you got a deal, right?
Go online to reach every home, every address, every time with Everydoor direct mail.
I think it's important to help the less fortunate. I'm the Angelina Jolie of Incredibly Hot Guys.
How I Met Your Mother, tonight at 7:30 East, 4:30 West.
Cub fans, we want to recognize your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers for their support of local youth baseball leagues. Through the Chevy Youth Baseball program, the local Chevrolet dealers support over 30,000 young ball players in their communities. These local Chevy dealers provide leagues with equipment kits, instructional clinics, and financial support. From the big leagues to the youth leagues, Chevy is truly the official vehicle of baseball. Bottom 3 for the Phillies, starting with Brian Schneider. 15 in a row retired by Matt Garza since Jimmy Rollins led off the bottom of the first with a base hit. Curveball missing. 1-1. Now the key for Garza, Bob, he's just been getting ahead of everybody and then has expanded. And as you say, wherever the mid has been, generally he's hit it.
Yep, quality strikes. Talked about that curveball earlier in the game. Doesn't use it a lot, but when he has, more often than not, he's been able to get called strikes. Just freezes the hitter. They're not expecting to see that big overhand curveball.
Three and one. And as we say that, first 16 hitters, only 9 first pitch strikes, but not too many of these 3-1 type counts. And Schneider just missed one as Jeff Baker will make the catch.
And seeing Brian Schneider pop up that 3-1 fastball appeared to be a very hittable pitch up in the zone, inner part of the plate. Called strike one here to Galvis. And Roger Craig, my manager in San Francisco, on occasion when he felt like his pitchers were nibbling too much, would have them come out and watch batting practice. Stand around the cage. You've got a coach out on the mound throwing 60 miles an hour right down the middle of the plate. And guys would pop them off the top of the cage. They'd hit ground balls to the infield, and he would tell them, you don't have to make a perfect pitch every time.
You guys make outs in BP all the time.
As Galvis goes down on strikes, Castillo will throw on to Leher for the out. Yeah, I think sometimes the pitcher gives up a couple of hard hit balls and all of a sudden, oh man, I got to stay out of the middle of the plate. I got to work out on the corners. I got to stay down. And now you start nibbling and falling behind in counts. And that's when you really get vulnerable. So he used to have the pitchers come out and watch batting practice around the cage. There's one, bang, off the top of the cage. There's another one, bang, off the top of the cage. See? You don't have to be perfect.
Yeah. John Mayberry Jr. is going to bat for Kyle Kendrick. Get a lot of emails and tweets about that. The Dora the Explorer backpack in the Cubs bullpen. Dora has not signed with the Cubs.
Strictly a tryout.
The guy with the least seniority, least amount of big league time, usually carries that backpack. And what's in it? Candy, sunflower
seeds, bubble gum. Just things to keep those relief pitchers busy while they wait for their turn to get into a ball game.
And why a Dora the Explorer backpack? Because it's funny. Stretching out that arm.
I mean, relief pitchers have a routine, especially those guys who know exactly what their role is down there in the bullpen. They understand we're getting into that part of the game. You know, Garza's been outstanding up to this point, but should anything go sideways, they start their program. You see guys occasionally with surgical tubing tied to the fence out there doing some exercises, weighted baseballs, maybe just stretching their legs, getting their backs loose a little bit, so when that phone does ring, they've already got a leg up on the process.
Or an arm up.
Or an arm up,
as they say. 2-2 on Mayberry. Here it is, inside, almost hit him. 3-2, Jimmy Rollins on deck. Garza shakes off Castillo. Here's his 3-2. And Mayberry couldn't hold up on a pitch in the dirt. So for Garza, that's 9 punch-outs on the day. Phillies will go into their bullpen in the 7th. Cubs lead 3-0. Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you by Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste.
Enough! No Pepsi for you. And what do you do?
I sing.
Enough! All right. Pepsi for you.
No, Pepsi for all.
Yeah, boy!
Most women may not be properly absorbing the calcium they take because they don't take it with food. Switch to Citracal Maximum Plus D. It's the only calcium supplement that can be taken with or without food. That's why my doctor recommends Citracal Maximum. It's all about absorption.
Klondike presents 5 Seconds to Glory. Powered versus the dreaded dance circle.
What would you do for a Klondike bar?
Did you know when you get heartburn, it's too late to take Prilosec? Because Prilosec is not intended for immediate relief. But it's never too late for Zantac. Prilosec takes at least 24 hours to reach its full effect. But Zantac works differently. It relieves heartburn in as little as 30 minutes. Its fast-release acid blockers are clinically proven to relieve heartburn when it occurs. In fact, no pill relieves heartburn faster. So when heartburn strikes, try Zantac. This has been Medifax for Zantac.
Time now for our Honda Games summary. Visit your local Chicagoland Honda dealer today. Test drive a 2012 Honda Accord. Joe Mather with the Cubs' first homer by an outfielder. The story today, though, has been Matt Garza. 1 hit, that was in the first inning, and has faced the minimum through 6. There is Jose Contreras.
Well, you think back to that base hit to start the ball game for the Phillies. Jimmy Rollins with that fly ball out into shallow right center field that none of the Cubs could get there quickly enough. That's been it. There haven't even been many hard hit balls in this game.
Contreras is 40, born in Cuba, 6'4", 255.
And back in that 4th inning, Joe Mather picked on a high fastball and drove it out of here into the front row in left field. As we showed you just a moment ago, the first bomb by a Cubs outfielder this year.
Going into the game today with 2 days left in April, the Cubs with just 7 home runs. In the Cubs game notes, he said the last time the Cubs hit just 7 home runs in any month was May of 1947. The Cubs actually, Bob, had 7 triples and 7 homers going into action today. That's hard to believe. You could play 21 games and have as many triples as home runs. Contreras coming back from elbow surgery on September 2nd of last year. So started this season on the DL, was activated on April 16th. And he strikes out Mather. Got that one up to 92. Fastball, though, these days right around 89, 90. Ryan Dempster is getting ready for his next start, which should be Thursday in Cincinnati. He'll come off the disabled list, battling a quad strain. Kerry Wood will have a sim game, I think, tomorrow here, and if that goes as planned, he should be back by Thursday as Castillo hit one a ton, but way foul.
That ball went a long way, Len. That hit the upper, or rather the second deck, just foul down that left field line.
Jeff Samardzija, who will pitch on Tuesday in Cincinnati, will get an extra day of rest. Actually get 2 extra days. Chris Volstad will go tomorrow. Well, we got an email from Alan Washington, who I think misheard our conversation about BABIP. He said that he would question our assertion about it eliminating random events from a batter's performance. No, we're talking about the fact that it is generally random and that it does change so often from year to year. Contreras with back-to-back Ks, so it's 7 for Kendrick, 2 for Contreras, 9 for Garza. They've been missing a lot of bats today. Al is correct in talking about Baseball Prospectus doing a study showing that BABIP was a particularly poor predictor of future BABIP. That is absolutely correct. And stats that change so frequently without much of a trend generally are shown to be somewhat random. If you can't repeat it year to year, is it really a skill? As Garza grounds out.
WGN.
WGN.
WGN. WGN America.
WGN America.
Where the fans are in charge. This is WGN America, home to the biggest shows on television.
Nice. Looks like WGN America filled out in all the right places.
You're good, WGN America. You're very good.
Yes, I can. Doubt, better leave. I'm running with this plan. Pull me, grab me, traps in a bucket, can't have me. I'll be the president one day. Oh, you like that gossip? Like you the one drinking what gossip.com. I got a word for your tongue. How many Rolling Stones you want? Yeah, I got a brand new spirit speaking and it's done. Woke up on the side of the bed like I won. Talk like the wind in my chest to that sun. G5 giving you US to Taiwan. Now who can say that? I want to play back. I got a feeling it's a rap. ASAP.
Man, I'm glad Aflac pays cash.
Aflac? Ha!
Isn't major medical enough? No. Who's going to help cover the holes in their plans?
Aflac.
Like medical bills they don't pay for.
Aflac.
Or help pay the mortgage. Or child care.
Aflac.
And everyday expenses.
Aflac.
Help your family stay afloat at Aflac.com.
Lately, we've been ordering a lot of cheesy bread from other places.
And what we found? Under-cheesing is rampant. You look at this.
A little bit of cheese with a whole lot of bread.
And we were one of the worst offenders. You know, what we said is, how do we make cheesy bread better? How do we make it special? Stuff it with cheese. It's got as much cheese as our medium pizza.
I wanted people to jump rope with their cheese.
Or you could eat it, which I would recommend.
Order any of our new stuffed cheesy breads or medium 2-topping pizzas. Choose any 2 for just $5.99 each.
Let's take a look at today's Bud Fan Cam.
Yeah, I like cool beverage, yeah. I like cool beverage, yeah. I like cool beverage, yeah. Cause I'm feeling kind of party. Stick it in the fridge, stick it in the fridge, stick it in the fridge, stick it in the fridge. Stick it in the fridge, stick it in the fridge, stick it in the fridge, stick it in the fridge. Go girl, work the cold one. Go girl, work the cold one. What? Go girl, work the cold one. Go girl, work the cold one. Yo, when I'm fishing, let's keep one thing clear. The bait's over.
That's Garrett Dutton, otherwise known as G Love and Special Sauce, Philadelphia natives with cold beverages. That's our Bud Fan Cam, brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds.
And we thank G Love and the Sauce for headlining one of our Len and Bob Bashes. The Cubs charities a few years ago.
G. Love got his start right here in the Society Hill area of Philadelphia, playing some of the local clubs and playing on street corners. Come a long way playing the Len and Bob Bash.
What a day for Matt Garza. He's tied his season high with 9 punch-outs. His career high is 12. And that was as a Cub, and it was in his first start as a Cub. And I seem to recall, Bob, it was against Pittsburgh. He gave up 12 hits and struck out 12. What's a weird stat line?
Throwing a lot of strikes that day.
Yes, he was. So he'll get the top of the order now for the 3rd time. Stewart in on the grass at 3rd. And Garza and a deep breath as he gets set for pitch number 83 of his afternoon. Well, if this particular hit that we're going to show you, Bob, happened in the 7th or the 8th inning in a perfect game, it would maybe have generated more interest. But that was to lead off the bottom of the 1st. Now, I suppose somebody could tell you, yeah, but when you give up the hit right off the bat, maybe takes a little pressure off a pitcher. The day could have gone a lot differently. And if all of a sudden he was perfect here in the 7th, who knows? But it wasn't as if Rollins hit it hard. Still 0-2. I don't mean to make your head hurt, but this is the only hit he gives up today. Is it as impressive as a guy going 8 2/3 and then giving up a hit?
That is for me.
It's a one-hitter.
Yeah.
Another 0-2. They have not hit many balls hard, and he has missed a lot of bats.
Mentioned 3rd time through the lineup here for Matt Garza, starting with the top of the order in Jimmy Rollins. Yeah, if you look at Matt Garza's numbers on the season, his first plate appearance against an opposing hitter, he's held him to a 147 batting average. Second plate appearance, it jumps up to 241, but then the 3rd plate appearance, 269. Normally you see a much bigger increase in the batting average. On base percentage, slugging percentage, they all seem to go up tremendously from that 2nd plate appearance to the 3rd plate appearance. But for Matt Garza, just a very slight increase.
On the ground for Darwin Barney. That's 19 outs for Garza, and 9 of them have been strikeouts, and those numbers you were talking about.
For a lot of different reasons, fatigue being one of them, but also the fact that after you've seen everything a pitcher throws in 2 at-bats of the ball game, you have a much better idea that 3rd time around. And if he is tiring somewhat, starts to miss his spots, that's why you'll see that huge jump in batting average, the 3rd plate appearance against a pitcher in a game, but not as significant for Matt Garza.
There's Pence on deck. Look, I don't know what's going to happen here the rest of the way, but normally a 3-run lead in this ballpark does not feel very comfortable. But the Phillies offense has struggled. They've been very inconsistent to start the year. And as Garza walks his first batter of the game, a 4-pitch walk to Juan Pierre.
As good as Matt Garza has been today, I think it's a real good idea by Dale Swaim and Chris Bosio to just get some activity going in that bullpen just in case. And Matt Garza has a history. I mean, this guy's on simmer all the time anyway, and the slightest increase in temperature, and he can boil over on occasion. Hopefully that walk won't set him off here. He'll be able to get right back into the zone to Hunter Pence.
5 straight pitches out of the zone.
You see him trying to calm himself down out there on the mound. Keep his emotions in check.
Two and 0. He gets a strike on a slider. Well, some days you go with the pitch that feels the best. Normally he'd throw that 4-seamer for a strike in this particular spot, but he goes with the slider. Stays off speed. 2-2. So Garza working from the stretch for the first time since the opening inning.
Well, and that's significant as well, Len. Out there pitching out of the windup all afternoon, getting in a real nice rhythm, very comfortable obviously with his mechanics today, the way he's been throwing strikes, and then suddenly into that stretch position for the first time since the first inning.
Either chewing on a blue piece of licorice or the string hanging out of his hoodie. He's been really good his last 2 times out. Beat Roy Halladay on Friday. Called strike 3. That's a big one for Garza. Number 10.
I mean, Garza's had good stuff today. After the first inning, Kendrick was very good as well, but they've both been the beneficiary of a monster strike zone today.
Wigginton with a hitting streak on the line. It's currently at 13 games. 3 for 8 with a homer in the series. And that 13-game streak tied for the longest current streak in the major leagues. Pablo Sandoval went 0 for 4 last night for the Giants. That ended his 20-game hitting streak. A pop-up right side of the infield. Darwin Barney will make the catch. Garza shutting him out through 7 on still only 1 hit.
This is me. Yep, born cool. This is my new Civic, and I love it. This is where I work. These are my tickets to the show of the decade. These are my friends. And this, I couldn't live without this. Oh, this is the girl I went out with last night. Hey.
Hey.
You gonna make it tonight? This is going to be awesome.
The all-new Civic EXL, the most technologically advanced Civic ever. Only from Honda.
Western Sky can put up to $5,000 in your checking account by tomorrow. Yes, the money's expensive, but it's a lot cheaper than a payday advance. And it's enough to really get you over the hump. So get off the payday treadmill and call 866-SKY-1224 now.
Klondike presents 5 Seconds to Glory. Powered versus the dreaded dance circle.
What would you do for a Klondike bar?
The American Garage. The temple of the tune-up. The Taj Mahal of overhaul. More of them count on AutoZone parts than ever before. But parts are just part of what we do. Our trusted advice and helping hands approach is everywhere. So, whether it's his place, her place, or the pro's place, parts are just part of what we do.
Get in the zone.
AutoZone.
Cubs, Reds, Wednesday at 7 East on WGN America.
Tickets are available now for the 2012 Cubs season, including the next homestand against the Dodgers and the Braves, starting this Friday, May 4th at Wrigley Field. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. Call 1-800-THE-CUBS or visit the Wrigley Field box office. The Liberty Bell here in Philadelphia. Right-hander David Herndon is in. Tony Campana bounces over the mound. That'll be an infield hit. His second hit of the afternoon. In the leadoff spot today for the first time this season.
Mentioned it earlier, line drives and ground balls, especially those kind of ground balls, the ones you just pound into that hard dirt in front of home plate, bounce it high in the air and streak down that first baseline. Not that kind of streak, just run fast down the first baseline.
An enormous lead and still able to get back with relative ease. Called strike. Takes off. They pitch out to throw to second, still late. Tony hasn't been here that long, but I think he's got his eyes set on Starlin Castro, who came in tied for first in the majors in steals with 10.
Not a very well executed pitch out. First of all, Brian Schneider came straight out to his right and really didn't gain any ground on that pitch. And then Herndon threw it a little bit wide. He had to reach for it, really threw off the rhythm.
Cubs really utilizing the hard concrete-like dirt out in front of home plate. As Campana advances to third. And here comes Castro.
Get him on, get him over, get him in.
And went 1-3 on the sac bunt. Infield in. The pitch. Ground ball. Backhanded by Galvis. Off balance throw. Schneider didn't have a chance. That'll be a fielder's choice for Castro to get his second RBI of the afternoon, and it's 4-0.
Maybe a rookie mistake that time by Galvis. Yeah, we used that phrase, trying to do too much. That was going to take a miracle to get Tony Campana at home plate. Galvis is moving to his right up the middle of the field, throwing back across his body. Campana got a great jump off of third. No chance to get him at the plate.
Castro now has knocked in 13 on the year. He takes off for second, and he's out. Major League leader in steals has now been caught 3 times this year.
Not a great jump that time by Starlin Castro. It went anyway. That's one thing he'll learn with more experience, when to shut it down. If you don't feel like you have a great jump, hey, you're not required to continue running. Didn't have a big lead to start with. A little slow on his takeoff, but once again looked like he came off the bag.
Brian LaHare finds a right field corner and is 3 for 4 with 2 doubles.
Brian has that uppercut swing anyway. I think he had a lot of topspin on that hooking line drive down into the right field corner. Center Fitz, we talked about his strong, accurate throwing arm earlier in the ball game. It wasn't as easy a double as you might have expected. Brian LaHare had to hustle in there to get it.
To Baker. Herndon, a former Rule 5 pick from the Angels in December of '09. Base hit, Jeff Baker. Here comes LaHare around third. Safe. 5-0.
Another nice piece of opposite field hitting by Jeff Baker, and good base running as well. Brian LaHare is waved around by Pat Listash, the third base coach, and Jeff Baker, as he rounded the bag at first, was watching the flight of the ball, making an estimation as to whether Lance Nix could cut it off or not. Determined that he could not make a cut on that throw, so he just moves on into scoring position himself.
So that's a single. He gets his 3rd RBI of the year. And some tack-on runs here in the 8th. Two 2-0 to Stewart. Play 2-1. Another sellout. 45,550. All of them are real happy right now. This is their 213th consecutive regular season sellout. First time in team history they led the majors in total home attendance and average home attendance last year. Lined to Pierre. Now Stewart has hit the ball hard a couple of times today, but he's 0 for 4. Cubs add 2. It's 5-0.
Have you met the neighbors of late night? Liz Lemon.
I'm your worst nightmare is who I is.
Bender.
Only I didn't have so much crunk in my badunkadunk.
Frank.
Make some cash.
Welcome to the neighborhood. That's what we call a block party. Late nights on WGN America.
It's over! Prohibition is over!
Who's searching for you? You can find out right now if someone is searching for you for free. Go to mylife.com, the internet's leading social site. Just type in your name and see if someone's searching for you right now for free. Go to mylife.com. Who's searching for you?
3 o'clock, my daily meeting with a salty snack. And then at 3:15 with my guilt.
Special K cracker chips. 27 crispy chips, 110 delicious calories.
Good meeting. Same time tomorrow?
Find them in the cracker aisle.
I see a bag and think, I could have a chip.
Yeah, right.
That's why they're called chips.
Special K cracker chips. 27 crispy chips, 110 delicious calories. Find them in the cracker aisle.
Neighbors! We shouldn't need a GPS to find the fertilizer. We should go to Ace, where we can zip in, find what we need, and zip out.
Our speedy-sized stores help get your weekend back at Ace.
Oh, sugar on a stick. I love it. 5-0 Cubs. Let's take a look at today's Illinois lottery. Anything's possible. Player James Russell got off to a very slow start last year, but very comfortable as the top left-hander in the bullpen this year. Anything's possible. Player brought to you by the Illinois Lottery, who each day make anything possible. It's been a big week for Rafael Dolis. His first big league win and save, all coming this week.
Hey, you wish that walks to strikeouts number, the next to the last one there, was reversed. But we've talked about it every time we've seen Rafael Dolis. He will walk the occasional batter, but because he throws that heavy sinker, gets a lot of ground balls. His team has made some plays behind him, turned some double plays. Still like to see him cut down on the walks.
So Dolis against Shane Victorino. Matt Garza was brilliant. 7 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. He allowed 2 base runners. That's it.
Yeah, it's hard to pick one outing and say that's the best we've seen of Matt Garza, because he's been really good in the past too. But I think overall, total command of his pitches today, total command of his emotions, is about as good as we've seen him.
Mather retires Victorino. Gotten a lot of Twitter love for Tony Campana today and has really done the job since coming up from Iowa last weekend. Everybody loves his speed. There's no question about that. But the number one thing he has to do to continue to get consistent at bats is get on base. If he does that, we know how disruptive a force he is, and he has been getting on base. Castro in the shift. That'll go 6-3 to get Nix.
Well, Dale Swaim has said repeatedly over the last few days that Tony Campana is going to get most of the starts in center field. There will be days when the matchup says that Reed Johnson should get the nod out there. There may be other days that Dale moves people around. David DeJesus could possibly get a start in center field if necessary. But, you know, the thing about Tony is he's got to work hard to get on base because he doesn't take a lot of walks. Only one so far on the season. But if you can hit your way on base and use that speed to get on the plate, that's all that matters.
And we said that about Juan Pierre when he was a Cub. The guys who don't hit for power and have great speed, those are the guys who need to get on base to provide offensive value. Tony doesn't want to just be a late inning pinch runner. Elise has a sign from Castillo. And a strike. 2-2 to Schneider. High pop fly. And it will be Campana in left center. 1-2-3 go to Phillies in the 8th. Still 5-zip Cubs.
Enough! No Pepsi for you. And what do you do?
I sing.
Enough! All right. Pepsi for you.
No, Pepsi for all.
Yeah, boy!
21st Century here with two identical, stolen cars. Luckily, the two cars that used to be here were both covered against theft. One through these guys, the other through 21st Century. So both cars can be replaced. But drivers who switch from Allstate to 21st save $577 a year. Call 888-422-1074 or visit 21st.com. 21st Century Insurance.
Dig it, 21st.
There's a lot of home improvement centers out there, but does paying more for less mower really improve anything? That's why Sears brought the latest Craftsman line here to put our money where our mouth is. Welcome to the turf war. Compare any Craftsman tractor, mower, or trimmer to any other brand, and we guarantee Sears has the lowest price. You won't find a better deal there or there. And if you do, we'll match it and give you up to $100 to spend on anything at Sears. It's a turf war because your lawn is worth fighting for. Want proof? See our prices and theirs at Sears.com/compare.
So for me to be there at the birth of my daughter, I have to answer trivial questions?
Yeah. You ready to play?
Bring it.
30 Rock tonight at 7 East, 4 West on WGN America.
I think it's important to help the less fortunate. I'm the Angelina Jolie of Incredibly Hot Guys.
How I Met Your Mother tonight at 7:30 East, 4:30 West.
So Joaquin Phoenix and Megan Fox, what do we think?
Yeah, mismatch, that's for sure. He outkicked his coverage.
Here's Joe Mather as
Just
we
my
start
opinion.
the night.
That's, you know, right. Strictly my opinion, not those of WGN or my partner.
Yeah, you can speak for me on that. That's all right. Mather bounces out to third. Here's Wellington Castillo, still looking for his first major league knock this season. Previous big league time, just 7 games in 2010, 4 last year. And 8 hits in now 39 big league at bats. Chopper toward third. It's foul. David DeJesus will hit for Dolis. Check that. David was already in the game.
Hey, snuck out there defensively in right field for Jeff Baker as part of a double switch, I believe.
Yeah, so Dolis in Baker's spot. Good call. Called strike 3. Talked about the Cubs bullpen. It really has been good the last week or so. Guys are settling into their roles a little bit. There's Carlos Marmol, the closer. And while I think Dale Swaim would possibly consider Dolis after a 10-pitch 8th for another inning, I think Marmol needs the work. Lined and caught by Ty Wigginton. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth. 5-0 Cubs.
What's up, America? I am Barney from America. America loves it. I see the face of America, and it is divine.
America is a melting pot.
God bless America.
Lunch? Usual.
Hey guys, this is a defining moment. We can continue down a bland avenue, or we can turn this day around with a spicy chicken sandwich from
Wendy's.
How about a turn signal?
Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich starts with a tender whole filet and our perfect blend of 7 tasty spices. Or layer on more flavor with our spicy guacamole chicken club. Tastes that are way past ordinary. That's Wendy's way.
Now that's better.
Did you know when you get heartburn, it's too late to take Prilosec? Because Prilosec is not intended for immediate relief. But it's never too late for Zantac. Prilosec takes at least 24 hours to reach its full effect. But Zantac works differently. It relieves heartburn in as little as 30 minutes. Its fast-release acid blockers are clinically proven to relieve heartburn when it occurs. In fact, no pill relieves heartburn faster. So when heartburn strikes, try Zantac. This has been Medifax for Zantac.
Overstock.com has gifts every mom will love. You'll find huge savings on the best brand names at a fraction of the retail cost. Show mom she's special with the perfect gift at the perfect price. Plus, shipping on your entire order is always $2.95 or less. Make mom's life easier and save 20% on select Dyson technology right now at Overstock.com.
Back here in Philadelphia, Cubs leading the Phils 5-0. And here's Carlos Marmol. Who will face Galvis, a pinch hitter. Looks like Pete Orr and Jimmy Rollins. Here we go. Fastball strike. The producer of Cubs baseball on WGN is Mark Brady. Our director is Skip Ellison. Our associate producer Doug Stanton. The executive producer of WGN Sports Bob Vorwald. The vice president and general manager WGN Marty Wilkie. Tony Campana circling and catching. Great work by our entire crew here in Philadelphia this week.
They talked about in the past, very inconsistent with his mechanics and his arm slot. And when it goes, it goes.
Three balls, no strikes. He walked the pinch hitter Orr. And now 3-0 on Rollins. And Orr will take off for second inside. He's walked back-to-back hitters. We'll bring up Pierre. There's a strike on a breaker.
Much better slider that time. A little more under control. Finished out in front of his body. And sometimes his body gets away from his arm. He really falls off to that first base side and leaves a lot of pitches on his arm side. That slider made its way back to the back door.
Pence on deck. Phillies still have one hit today. They've taken 3 walks here in the final 3 innings. And the pitch. A pop-up infield fly rule as Castro makes a catch. 2 down. Matt Wieters with a 2-run double to tie the game in the bottom of the ninth. Orioles and Athletics 2-2. Bartolo Colon with a key error in that inning as he went into the ninth with a shutout. So now the A's into their bullpen trying to get the game to the 10th. Mentioned Baltimore off to an excellent start this year. 1-1 to Pence. Here it is. He held. Indians shut out the Angels. Derek Lowe now 4-1. 4-0 the final. Toronto beats Seattle 7-2. Everything else still going on. Slider strike. Pence vacated, and he doesn't like the call by Bill Miller.
Yeah, Slider took the break very late that time. Pence thought it stayed inside off the plate. He's probably right.
Ground ball up the middle. Diving stop, Barney. Throw to first, not in time. Oh, what a play just to keep that ball out of the outfield, but Castro could not get to second base in time, and the bases are loaded. But he's so good going to his right.
He really is very comfortable going to his backhand side. Too much speed by Hunter Pence that time, legs it out for an infield hit.
Well, Marmol can just go right at Wigginton. Even if he homers, the Cubs are still ahead. Tying run is now on deck in Shane Victorino, and a slider is low.
Wigginton looking to ambush a fastball right there on the 1-0 count. Got a slider instead as James Russell getting ready just in case.
Well, this is a guy you can't walk. Gotta let him put it in play. Well, what's left of this sellout crowd getting up on its feet. Three and two. Here's the payoff pitch. It's high. He's forced in a run, and now the tying run will come to the plate.
We saw Chris Bosio tell the skipper that he's ready. James Russell has been going for a while down in that Cubs bullpen. A tough situation for a manager. You don't want to have to take your closer out of a ball game when you brought him in just to get an inning of work. But you'd like to take this victory home today. A well-earned victory if they can get this final out.
Victorino has 4 home runs, but they've all been right-handed. So that plays into the move here as well. You bring Russell in, you turn Victorino around. That's been his home run side so far. He's slugging .254 left-handed, .792 right-handed. And right now you want to keep the ball in the park. Here's the pitch. Jonathan Papelbon gets up just in case this game continues. Another 0-2 on the ground. It should do it. Castro will fire to first. Cubs win. Cubs win 5-1 the final. That was the score on Friday night when Paul Maholm worked at Gem. Matt Garza as good as any Cub pitcher we've seen so far this year. The final score, Cubs 5, Phillies 1.
There's a lot of home improvement centers out there, but does paying more for less mower really improve anything? That's why Sears brought the latest Craftsman line here to put our money where our mouth is. Welcome to the turf war. Compare any Craftsman tractor, mower, or trimmer to any other brand, and we guarantee Sears has the lowest price. You won't find a better deal there or there. And if you do, we'll match it and give you up to $100 to spend on anything at Sears. It's a turf war because your lawn is worth fighting for. Want proof? See our prices and theirs at Sears.com/compare.
Lately, we've been ordering a lot of cheesy bread from other places.
And what we found? Under-cheesing is rampant. You look at this.
A little bit of cheese with a whole lot of bread.
And we were one of the worst offenders. You know, what we said is, how do we make cheesy bread better? How do we make it special? Stuff it with cheese. It's got as much cheese as our medium pizza.
I wanted people to jump rope with their cheese.
Or you could eat it, which I would recommend.
Order any of our new stuffed cheesy breads or medium 2-topping pizzas. Choose any two for just $5.99 each.
Tough on sweat. Not on skin. Get powerful 48-hour sweat protection plus quarter moisturizer technology only with Dove Men Plus Care deodorant.
Neighbors! We shouldn't need a GPS to find the fertilizer. We should go to Ace, where we can zip in, find what we need, and zip out.
Our speedy-sized stores help get your weekend back at Ace.
Cubs 5, the Phillies 1. The Phillies held to just 2 hits on the afternoon. And today's Budweiser player of the game is Matt Garza. Total command today.
I can't imagine anything else he could do better today. Gave up the 1-base hit to Jimmy Rollins starting the ball game. A little floater into shallow right center field. Had all of his pitches working. Had his emotions in check. Outstanding game by Matt Garza.
Player of the game is brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some Buds. Cubs win 5-1.
How can a dinner party this last minute be this well done? And how can a beer this full flavored be just 99 calories? Budweiser Select, the exception to the rule.
Good news, men use soap. Bad news, men use soap that can really dry their skin. Fear not, Dove Men Plus Care is here. It's the bar with 1/4 moisturizing cream, so it cleans and leaves skin feeling moisturized. Dove Men Plus Care.
Welcome to Longhorn Steakhouse. Come in now for new steak and seafood combinations. Try our lobster baked potato and sirloin for just $16.99, or our crab stuffed mushrooms and sirloin for $14.99. Steak and seafood tonight at Longhorn Steakhouse.
This is me. Yep, born cool. This is my new Civic, and I love it. This is where I work. These are my tickets to the show of the decade. These are my friends. And this, I couldn't live without this. Oh, this is the girl I went out with last night. Hey.
Hey.
You gonna make it tonight? This is going to be awesome.
The all-new Civic EXL, the most technologically advanced Civic ever. Only from Honda.
I have 2 car insurances in front of you here. Let's start with car insurance X. 4 million people switched to that car insurance alone just last year.
Got a nice bouquet.
Our second car insurance, Y. Oh, I can see by your face they just lost another customer. You chose Geico over the competitor. Calm down. Calm down. I don't know, you're getting carried away.
Conventional wisdom says a full-flavored beer can't be low in calories. Budweiser Select is anything but conventional. Full flavor, 99 calories. Budweiser Select, the exception to the rule.
Chicago Cubs baseball brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. The Illinois Lottery. Do you believe in the power of possibility? The Illinois Lottery. Anything's possible. And by Ford, manufacturers of more fuel-efficient vehicles than any other brand. Check them out at your local Ford store or online at localfordstores.com. Our next WGN broadcast of Cubs baseball will be Wednesday when the Cubs travel to Cincinnati for Game 2 of a 3-game set against the Reds. We'll hit the air at 6 o'clock Central Time. Once again, our final score, the Cubs 5, the Phillies 1. Chicago Cubs baseball in high definition is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Stay tuned. The 10th inning is next.
I bathed it in miracles.
Oh, cut! Sorry to interrupt. When's the show?
Well, if we don't find an audience, all we'll ever do is rehearse.
Maybe you should try Every Door direct mail. Just select the zip codes where you want your message to be seen, print it yourself, or find a local partner, and you find the customers that matter most.
Brilliant. Clifton, show's overjoyed. No, too much. Janessa? A round of applause.
Go online to reach every home, every address, every time with Every Door direct mail.
Hey, Becky.
Hey, Uncle Steve.
For life's bleachable moments.
Man, I'm glad Aflac pays cash.
Aflac? Ha!
Isn't major medical enough? No. Who's going to help cover the holes in their plans?
Aflac.
Like medical bills they don't pay for.
Aflac.
Or help pay the mortgage. Or child care.
Aflac.
And everyday expenses.
Aflac.
Help your family stay afloat at Aflac.com.
So for me to be there at the birth of my daughter, I have to answer trivial questions?
Yeah. You ready to play?
Bring it.
30 Rock tonight at 7 East, 4 West on WGN America.
Welcome to the 10th inning. The Cubs beat the Phillies today 5-1. 5 runs, 8 hits, no errors, 4 left for the Cubs. 1 run, just 2 hits, 1 error, 4 stranded for the Phillies. Winning pitcher, Matt Garza. He's 2-1. Kyle Kendrick takes the loss to drop to 0-2. Game took 2 hours, 33 minutes to play in front of a sellout crowd of 45,550. Joe Mather with his first homer as a Cub. We'll have more from Philadelphia on the 10th inning next.
The 10th inning is brought to you by your neighborhood Culver's, home of the Butter Burger and fresh frozen custard.
The verdict is in, America. There's a lot of mother lovers out there.
No.
Yes. You've tweeted.
I like you.
You've posted.
They love me.
And you've watched HIMYM on WGNA.
That's just awesome.
With fans this amazing, we'd just like to say...
Thank you!
Watch How I Met Your Mother and meet at McLaren's to join the legendary conversation.
Welcome to Longhorn Steakhouse. Come in now for new steak and seafood combinations. Try our lobster baked potato and sirloin for just $16.99, or our crab stuffed mushrooms and sirloin for $14.99. Steak and seafood tonight at Longhorn Steakhouse.
Klondike
presents 5 Seconds to Glory. Power versus the dreaded dance circle.
What would you do for a Klondike bar?
This is me. Yep, born cool. This is my new Civic, and I love it. This is where I work. These are my tickets to the show of the decade. These are my friends. And this, I couldn't live without this. Oh, this is the girl I went out with last night. Hey.
Hey.
You gonna make it tonight? This is going to be awesome.
The all-new Civic EXL, the most technologically advanced Civic ever. Only from Honda.
I have 2 car insurances in front of you here. Let's start with car insurance X. 4 million people switched to that car insurance alone just last year.
Got a nice bouquet.
Our second car insurance, Y. Oh, I can see by your face they just lost another customer. You chose Geico over the competitor. Calm down. Calm down. I don't know, you're getting carried away.
Cubs beat the Phillies today 5-1 behind Matt Garza, who went 7 strong innings, allowed just 1 hit, struck out a season-best 10. Let's get the highlights. Second inning, the Cubs getting on the board as Brian LaHare leading off the inning with an automatic double. Jeff Baker would double over Hunter Pence. Ian Stewart grounds out, scores a run. Cubs lead 1-0. Third inning, they'd add on. Starlin Castro with a sac fly. Tony Campana with that blazing speed beats a perfect throw from Hunter Pence. And it's 2-0. Only Kyle Kendrick liked that call. Fourth inning, Joe Mather with the Cubs' first homer from an outfielder. 3-0. In the 8th, they would add on. Campana steals a bag. Castro with a fielder's choice RBI. LaHare doubles into the right field corner. Jeff Baker would knock him in. 5-0 at this point. Carlos Marmol struggled with his command. Nice play by Barney, but an infield hit from Hunter Pence. And then Ty Wigginton takes the bases loaded walk. That made it 5-1. And here would be the final out is Victorino as the tying run grounds out to short. We'll have the Culver's sweet defensive play when we come back.
Cowhide dries out. So does your man hide. Regular Men's body wash can dry out your skin. Only Dove Men Plus Care has micro moisture to fight skin dryness, so that man hide of yours stays clean and moisturized. Skincare built in.
At eHarmony, we love that you're selective and that you know who you are and who's right for you. That's why we'd never dream of bombarding you with hundreds of random profiles. Instead, we help you find people who truly complement you, which is why first dates on eHarmony have a better chance of turning into happy relationships than on any other site. So what are you waiting for? Review your matches free at eHarmony.com.
There's a lot of home improvement centers out there, but does paying more for less mower really improve anything? That's why Sears brought the latest Craftsman line here to put our money where our mouth is. Welcome to the turf war. Compare any Craftsman tractor, mower, or trimmer to any other brand, and we guarantee Sears has the lowest price. You won't find a better deal there or there. And if you do, we'll match it and give you up to $100 to spend on anything at Sears. It's a turf war because your lawn is worth fighting for. Want proof? See our prices and theirs at Sears.com/compare.
I'm embarrassed to say I've missed the birth of both of my sons for very legitimate reasons.
Cooking a French bread pizza and forgot.
30 Rock. Tonight at 7 East, 4 West on WGN America. Wednesday on WGN America, Alfonso Soriano and the Cubs hope to dance the night away against Votto and the Reds. Wednesday at 7 East on WGN America.
The 10th inning has been brought to you by your neighborhood Culver's, home of the Butter Burger and fresh frozen custard.
Our Culver's sweet defensive play of the game kind of set the tone today, as the Phillies didn't have a lot of chances, but in the first inning, Juan Pierre trying to get second base on what would have been a wild pitch, but Wellington Castile nailed him for our Culver's sweet defensive play of the game. Chris Volstad will go tomorrow for the Cubs, still looking for his first win, and Vance Worley will go for the Philadelphia Phillies. Cubs will try to win their first series ever here at Citizens Bank Park. That'll wrap things up. We're back on WGN Wednesday night from Cincinnati. 5-1 the final. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Sunday, your weekend time with crime continues with Law & Order Criminal Intent. Today at 5 East, 2 West on WGN America. Weekdays on WGN America. Go baby crazy with America's funniest home videos.
You know, they stay a lot fresher when you keep them under glass. She is cute as a bug, and she's on a bug, so you can compare. Oh, good. A second layer of frosting.
Let's go.
6 months old, he's already a master of disguise.
Leave Grandpa's teeth alone. Wake him up, I said. Don't pull his teeth out. Wake him up.
Why wait for your baby teeth when you can get the real thing immediately?
Let me see. Oh, no, she got the teeth.
America's funniest home videos. Weekdays at 7 p.m. East, 4 p.m. West. Right here on WGN America.
Tonight on America's